Everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are taking a look at the circumstances surrounding the death of Mr. John Barnett, a Boeing former employee and whistleblower who was, I believe, giving either the last day of his deposition to his attorneys because he had some information about the lack of quality control and the subpar parts that were going on the planes that many of us have flown, right? Like, it's a big deal. Protecting whistleblowers is a big deal. And this is the reason why I'm covering it. I don't typically like to cover cases when someone has allegedly taken their own life for a number of reasons. But because of the topic at hand and how important it was to John to get the word out about what was going on at Boeing, I think we need to explore it. Just ask, and see what Spirit wishes to reveal. If we have time in this video, I'd like to then use my tarot and just ask a couple of questions. We don't need to go too take because we're going to look at first the overall energy surrounding his death. Did he take his own life? I'm going to show you in a moment what the cards are. And then I'm going to definitely be curious to hear what you all have to say about this. Well, I would like two more cards. Two more cards. No, I want two, please, Spirit. 1 to 2. Okay. No. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right, the first card we have is rat, ear, comet, bone, ribbon, poison, like a toxic situation or a literal poison. Interesting. Pentagram, coin. Okay, so we have the first card, which is rat. Rat indicates a traitor or untrustworthy person or a disease. So I do know with the nature of being a whistleblower means that you may be perceived by management or other employees or shareholders, or you may be viewed even in the public as a traitor or a snitch. So he could have been grappling with that. It wears on you after a while. It causes disease inside of you when you're carrying that weight of people, you becoming paranoid and thinking that people perceive you as a traitor or a rat or an untrustworthy person. Now, on the flip hand side, this card can symbolize that someone that he thought he could trust, or something he thought he could trust isn't trustworthy. It says a traitor or untrustworthy person. So it could be that there is someone that is untrustworthy to John. I believe his nicknames were Mitch and Dawg. May he rest in peace and rest in honor. It wasn't easy, the burden he carried for so many years. And the things he heard the things he's seen as a quality control manager. I used to work with folks who had 20, 30-year careers, and those employees really were prideful of the work that they put out and prideful of the company. And sometimes they would raise issues, they would make noise, and then at times they could be targeted, and you would see it as another employee, right? And I'm grateful for those who speak up, but on the other hand, it's like, oh my God, what's going to come of it, right? So what could come of it is he couldn't trust someone that that is a traitor. Who could be a traitor in his life? Certainly Boeing, but I feel like this is singularly someone. And what I mean by that is people are saying that it would be Boeing or some representative on their behalf. But I feel like it could be someone who may have worked there or someone who knows about the information he has, a traitor. It may be how do I even say this? They have a vested interest in it, but not necessarily acting at the behest of Boeing. Okay, so that, yeah, I don't know how else to say it. So we have the ear card, like I mentioned. This is about hearing news, and maybe this could symbolize that we will hear news about a traitor or untrustworthy person. It's about listening to others or being aware of situations. Someone is in the know. Now this, I do recall a close family friend saying that he said that if anything happened to him, it's not that he took his own life, it's somebody else, right? Like it could be Boeing, is what is implied there, allegedly, right? So she came out on the news and said that. So she's heard something. He's heard something, or somebody heard something about an untrustworthy situation. Comment. Now, I'm starting to see the shape of this message. Comet, a disaster, turmoil, catastrophe, destruction, war, a bad omen. Whoa. So, God, when I look at this now, sorry guys, it's just, I used to have a huge fear of flying. So this also really is important to me because I'm like, no, if people are going to be on planes, they need to be safe, and that's just bottom line. And so he heard things, witnessed things, seen things, untrustworthy things, and he was trying to prevent a catastrophe. What would be a catastrophe? A Boeing airplane falling out of the sky, due to subpar parts or, shoddy craftsmanship in terms of putting the plane together, or maintenance is a foul. I don't know. Maintenance may not be necessarily in the purview of Boeing, but certainly in the guidance on repairing planes, like the instructions and manuals and things like that. And if everything is kind of like, let's cut corners everywhere, let's cut corners. And not care, it's like gambling. It's like gambling. Taking taking the dice and rolling them. Each time a plane is crafted and used with, things that John, for example, wouldn't approve on, it wouldn't pass go for him. And then they're like, oh, well, it's flying. And if it does crash and fall, we'll just have to pay out. And the government will come in and take care of us if need be. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if Boeing in and of itself would be even, I feel like there were other whistleblowers. But there's something here. And we'll see if this comment is speaking more about him personally or something bigger brewing. So comment. A bad omen, destruction, catastrophe, disaster, turmoil. Those are the key words. And then bone, mortality is the very first key word. Leaving something behind, having something to hide, strong foundations, having something to hide. They had something to hide. The stock prices tanked following the whole issue with the door on the plane. What was it, a week or two ago? Where the fuselage door, I think, flew open or something. I don't know. All I know is we're lucky that there were no casualties, right? My God. So, I don't know. Maybe that's speaking to the mortality of those passengers and, people who fly the planes, the staff or the employees. But this could be, and I hate to say it, guys, I know that people might not agree with this part, but it could be that he felt like he did what he needed to do. And that the money was not necessarily important to him. This was a man with a lot of conviction about this. His job was his life. And I felt like he got tired. I could be wrong. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, this is like a catastrophe, an end, a destruction. What could be an end? Well, you take your own life, right? Facing your mortality, leaving something behind, making it seem like Boeing is, may be at hand. Yes, I already know that his hand was on the gun. And that happened 75% of the time in such cases when someone may have, shot themselves, So, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just processing all of this. Bone. Having something to hide. And leaving a strong foundation. I am curious to know if he did give all the pertinent details necessary in the deposition. I heard that his attorneys could still move forward with this suit or with what they were, doing with his case. So there's that. This card is about happy times, festivities, innocence, and a symbol of hope. Not quite sure. Maybe giving all of this wealth of information that he had, I heard that he took, meticulous notes, saved a lot of different documents and things, probably on his computer. And he's basically handing it to the powers that be, like at the FAA, and to us, the greater community. He packaged it in a bow. Here's the information about what's going on here. The poison card could literally mean that there's something toxic going on, perhaps a real actual poison or a drugging. We'll see what the other oracle cards say, and I will come up with some tarot questions to ask. But some key phrases to the poison card is accepting something harmful, self-destruction, toxic people. He was diagnosed with PTSD, and also experiencing panic attacks. And this was a highly stressful, toxic situation for him. You know, sometimes when people do things, it doesn't make sense to us. However, on the flip hand side, and this is why we're going to have to use the tarot, I think, in this case, to ask some pointed questions. But it can say that somebody may have, drugged him, or it could just be metaphorical that he was in a really toxic situation. But I kid you not, one of the key words or key phrases to this poison card is self-destruction. And I look at everything when I do these readings. I try to. And then I ask you all to be like the second pair of eyes, intuitive, eye to see what I'm not seeing in my blind spots on the reading table. Now we have pentagram and coin. I find this interesting. This card is associated with the sum of a lifetime of choices and material gain. He was going to probably gain some money, like in a wrongful... I forgot what exactly the nature of his suit was. I'll have to look it up. But I heard he was set to get some sort of compensation. He was seeking some sort of damages or something. However, this could be speaking to someone who thought it best that he be gone. It could speak to that, because this is interesting. We have the coin card. And before I move to the coin card, we have pentagram, which in the guidebook, it's pentacle. So similar energy with the coin, if not the same. The coin card means some form of like materialism, gaining a better position in life, wealth and prosperity. If I go back to bone, and it's sitting underneath this coin card, leaving something behind, having something to hide. Mortality, having something to hide. Of something that is of value. I don't know. All right, I'm going to be right back. All right, let's look at the Divine Shadow Self cards. John, Barnett, Mitch. What are the energies? Shadow facing energies. Addictions. John. Flighty. That's an interesting card. Drunk. I think he was going... I have regret. I think he was going to his deposition that morning when the groundsperson heard a shot, or a pop. I think it was raining, so they weren't quite sure, but it was in the morning. So I don't know about the addiction and drunk card. We'll explore that. Humiliation. Boredom. Oh. Heartbroken. One more, Spirit. One more, please. Dream. Okay, I'm going to show you all. Addictions and flighty. Sometimes I think Spirit be playing or pulling my leg and whatnot, and like flighty, airy, airheadish, or airplane, flighty. That was interesting. It was like, Spirit, what are you sharing here with us? But addictions and drunk. I don't know if he had, any addictions or not. And, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure that in the autopsy, they're going to be doing talk screens and whatnot, right? Even if his manner of death is something like, gunfire, but they still will check his blood system or whatever, his blood, and see what's going on there. We have addictions, drunk, perhaps maybe the night before, drinking, heavy drinking, or maybe someone who's close or close to the situation involved somehow. They have addictions, maybe addicted to money, but I'm sensing some sort of substance here. Someone having regret. Honestly, I'm going to tell you, I think regret, humiliation's interesting. We'll talk about that one in a moment. But boredom goes, regret, heartbroken, and drained. I feel like those cards are really speaking to the energy surrounding the heart and head space that he was in, right? So regrets, spending his whole life giving to a company that damaged him. He had PTSD from all of this. And I believe it. I believe it. And it's a heavy cross to bear, to be the one to have to keep copious notes and have to CYA and cover your tracks and then, watching the degradation of like the whole, the whole system that you were so prideful of before. It just is sad to me. Humiliation. I'm not quite sure like where this fits in. That's why I said I wanted to come back to it. But boredom, I think that he was, I feel like he was like, what's after this? What's after this suit? Yeah, I might have money and I can live great. What's after this? That doesn't mean that he took his life, by the way, but it was just like there's a question like, what now? I've given all of my life to this. I'm not the same. And I'm bored. And I think that his wife had recently passed away from cancer. So he's a widower. And this is what comes up next, heartbroken. He's heartbroken. And heartbroken over his career. It sounds like he was forced out. And many of us know those stories or been a part of that and know that experience. Giving your all, getting passed over from promotions because you always, you speak up and speak on what's right. And then you get passed over and you get targeted and you get, marked down in your reviews and they talk to you any old kind of way and HR doesn't protect you. And you're heartbroken. I've seen it. I've felt it. I've been in a long-standing career and I know it. So it's just like, and also grieving. There's some sense of grief here. He's drained. He's tired. He was mentally weary. He was drained. This situation drained the life out of him. And like I said, I think that a thorough investigation still needs to be done because I'm not quite sure what's going on here with this rat and poison and comments, this whole row up here and then the poison card. But this is telling me something here as well. It is, I have to say. You all have to let me know what you all think the cards are saying here. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so, and I was thinking about the humiliation card that jumped earlier. And maybe someone was going to be humiliated, and maybe we're just blanketly blaming Boeing, but it may not be. It may be something a bit more personal. I don't know. Okay, Spirit, what do you wish to share with us? Did he take his own life? Did he not? We have 2 or more. Okay. Okay. Maybe 2 or more in the know, 2 or more who helped him get to this point. Okay. All right. It's starting to shape up. Oh my God, you guys. This is my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle that I use. Concealed or hidden. Addiction keeps coming up. It came up over there. Addictions. The poison card is also sometimes indicative over here. And then addictions. It can be indicative of an addiction of some sort, because after a while it can become toxic, right? Look at that. Distraction or diversion. And I really shuffled this deck. We have Sun. Somebody dating. Maybe someone he knows. Power control. I want to reshuffle. Hold on, you guys. You're probably like, what is she doing? Making sure it's shuffled good. Lord, law enforcement. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, I am going to show you. So at first, I was leaning towards that maybe it was just like what you see is what you get with them. Like he took his life. But after looking at these cards, I feel a little different. And I'll show you why. Let me fix my camera. Okay. 2 or more. So there's that. So it's basically telling us that, multiple people could have influenced this or had a hand in this. It can also indicate that this was not something that was done on his own. As you all know, and those who have this deck, that have bought this deck, you know that I have a lot of cards in here that can point to someone taking their own life, right? There's quite a few cards in the deck that can point to that. There's not much of that here in this reading. We have motive, hate crime. Someone hated him. Murder for hire. Someone orchestrated this, had a hand in it. Information. He had some key information. Now, I know that he was whistleblowing on, hostile work environment, also low quality parts for the planes. But I wonder if he has some other kind of information, or this could speak to just information surrounding what really happened here. 2 or more, concealed or hidden. This card is sitting over the concealed or hidden card. Addiction. Now I'm going to show you all something. We have addiction, distraction, meeting. But addiction, catty corner, meeting. It almost feels like someone set something up. A male at the is doing this. Orchestrated something. A meeting. Female. Females here. Male, definite male energy with the sun. I'm not quite sure other than, this is male figures or someone protecting someone else or a need to protect someone else. Someone that you feel responsible for. Perhaps dating is interesting. It will be interesting. I hope that authorities are doing a thorough investigation. Right now, at face value, it sounds like they're just treating it like he took his life, and I'm assuming they're investigating. We have the law enforcement here as the last card. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But we have power control and meeting. Somebody wanting to get the upper hand in the situation. Distraction or diversion. Maybe, we're going to be distracted with, okay, he took his life, but really somebody might be smooth trying to get away with something. Making us look in one direction, but really this is what's going on over here. I don't know. False accusations. False accusations is interesting. This is like maybe him being falsely accused of taking his own life, or him having to experience false accusations, or someone feeling like he's levied false or accusations that can't be supported, but it's still going to be ruinous for them, right? False accusations. Local, nearby to him, close to him, close, sitting underneath this dating. Like someone that he would have been connected to, that he would have been okay seeing on occasion. Okay. Clues are offered in social media, or this card, sometimes I'm seeing now, comes up not just for like social media, like messages and DMs and comments, but also like tracking. Tracking, you know how apps can track your whereabouts and things, and whereabouts of other people around you. There could be important clues in that information about something, some kind of connection, it says dating here and meeting. Lured. He was lured. What was he lured into? Law enforcement is the last card. What do you all think about the law enforcement card? I am curious to know. Be right back.